Happy Warden Weekend, my fellow wardens. It's time again for Letters from the Front, where Uncle Cal, that's me, answers all your letters and questions about what matters on the front line. You all wrote many letters after the second broadcast, and I try to answer everyone in our time given. And our first letter is from Carrot. Carrot writes, Dear Uncle Cal, my section leader had his head blown off by a Colonial sniper 5 days gone, and our entire company has had their spirits killed by this embarrassing loss to the most ineffective piece of equipment in the generally ineffective Colonial arsenal. How do we get over this massive morale blow? Carrot, my dear lad, it's a hard letter you've sent this time, and my heart goes out to you. Losing a leader is never easy. Seeing a man you followed, someone you trusted, taken by a Colonial sniper, well, it cuts deep. It's not just the bullet that does the damage. It's the hole in the ranks it leaves behind. 5 days of mourning? It's understandable. But we can't linger in the trenches of grief forever, my fellow brother. We can't afford to. Snipers want you shaken. They want you broken. Don't give them that satisfaction. Instead, rally your company. Show them that where one of ours may fall, we take 10 of the collies with us. We don't break, and we sure as hell don't give up just because some Colonial coward got a lucky shot. So, what do you do now? You don't sit around waiting for the next shot to come. No, you take the fight to them. You start thinking like a warden, like a hunter. First, keep your heads low, your movements sharp, and never stand still. Second, get your engineers building those watchtowers and sandbags. Control the line of sight. Make it impossible for those snipers to get a clean shot. You and your company, you can't falter. Not now, not ever. You think your leader would want that? Number, he'd want you to take that pain, that loss, and forge it into something stronger. So yes, this sniper's taken a good man. But now he's made a mistake. He's made you angry. And a warden who's angry and still standing, that's the most dangerous thing on the battlefield. And now, dear Carrot, heads up. We've got a war to win. Ah, what a letter. Makes you feel the fire in your gut, doesn't it? I wish Carrot and his company a good hunt. So, let's take a look into the next letter from Stormy. Hello, Uncle Cal. Can I ask a question? Oh, Stormy, you know I'm always here to answer your questions. How do you prevent people from stealing my flatbeds and trucks? I already had 4 stolen from me and a random guy shooting my truck for nothing. How do you prevent these situations? What a fantastic question. Practical and close to the heart. Trucks and flatbeds, eh? The lifeblood of logistics, the unsung heroes of this war effort. Without them, we'd all be left staring at empty ammo crates. But it seems you've had a few unfortunate incidents with folks treating your precious vehicles like they're free for the taking. Well, well. Isn't that just the sort of thing to drive a good warden mad? 4 trucks shot at for nothing. Honestly, you'd think some of these people forgot there's a war going on and not a demolition derby. Now here's the thing, Stormy. Some folks need to be reminded of the basics, like how to lock their vehicles. Yes, that's right. Lock your precious flatbed and no grubby hands will touch it, but maybe wrench it. It's not exactly rocket science, is it? But you'd be amazed how many forget. Then they sit there scratching their heads when someone waltzes off with their wheels. Lock it or lose it, my friend. That's the rule of the road. So, as for those folks who think it's fun to take a few shots at your truck, well, sometimes we get bad eggs. In the meantime, if you're tired of having your hard-earned vehicles swiped, why not park them in a seaport or depot? That's right. It's like putting your vehicles in a safe. Only you can open it. But do yourself a favor. Check in every 2 days to refresh that stockpile, or some other joker might think you've gone AWOL and claim your ride. And let me be clear, Stormy, Don't just park it out in the open and hope for the best. This is war, not a picnic. If it's not locked or stored properly, it's fair game to those who can't resist the temptation. And frankly, we've got enough trouble with the Colonials without having to babysit our own supplies. I hope that you didn't get your truck stolen while writing that letter to me. What a good question, wasn't it? Of course, Uncle Cal does know all the dirty tricks and tips which saves time and lives. Now, there's a question I didn't expect to find in my stack of letters. Ezekiel writes, "Do warden women prefer colonial men?" Is that really what's keeping you up at night, lad? Not the battle lines or the supply routes, but whether our women folk are falling for those colonial cowards? Ah, Ezekiel. Warden women, like warden men, have taste and standards. Why on earth would they waste their time on those ragtag colonials? Besides, if you've got time to be worrying about romance during a war, Ezekiel, then I'd say you're not spending enough time on the front. I suggest you focus less on imaginary love triangles and more on keeping your territory safe. We wardens celebrate our comeback and will reconquer every city, every river, every hill, and every heart. Well, Ezekiel, I think we've cleared that one up, haven't we? Now let's move on to something a bit more relevant to winning this war, shall we? I've got another letter here, and I'm hoping it's about something a little less distracting. The next and last letter is from dearest Spencer. He writes, "Dear Uncle Cal, how do we prevent alts from stealing the fire trucks and driving them into the front line to be blown up? Saw reports almost every day in war, 116. War 116? Maybe you've taken a bit too much uppers to stay awake at the front line, dear. Be careful and better ask your officer to take some days off. There's only one persistent war, and we will win this, of course." Never mind. South, where was it? Yes. I mentioned to my regiment that maybe we should stockpile a bunch of fire trucks. I then received a picture of about 20 lined up and ready to go. Not sure if it was a picture from previous wars or not, but thought it was funny actually seeing that. Fire trucks being driven straight into enemy fire by some fool. You think stocking up on them is the solution? Well, sure, if you've got a fortress to store them in. If you're not locking those beauties up, you're just giving free rides to those alts. Are not so friendly imposters who think it's funny to turn wardens' hard-earned vehicles into colonial target practice. Now, spotting alts can be tricky. They might act suspicious, wasting vehicles, driving recklessly, or shooting at things for no reason. But here's the kicker. Not every strange action means someone's an alt. Sometimes it's just a new recruit trying to figure out what's what. So keep an eye out, but don't be too quick to pull the trigger on a fellow warden. They might just need some advice, not a court-martial. So, give them a chance before jumping to conclusions. Sometimes they just need someone to point them in the right direction. And if it truly is an alt, we know what to do with alts. And with that, my fellow wardens, that's all for today. We come to the end of our times for now. I'm looking forward to your next letters and salute you until next time. Your Uncle Cal.
It's a cloudy day for me, since good luck came knocking at my door.